This is a step where you start to work out your Leslie matrix, which is P1, which is population after time period 1, our Leslie matrix, and that is multiplied by our initial population, and that gets expanded out to population after period 1 years equals our Leslie matrix times by our initial population. And we get our Leslie matrix by inputting our data from this, because our birth rate, this is where our information comes from. We have got our birth rate 1, 0, our birth rate 2, which is 2.1, which comes here, and our birth rate 3, which is 0.3, which goes into there. Our survival rate comes into here, which is 0.6, and our survival rate here, 0.4, comes into here, which is shown on this Leslie matrix right here. And this all turns into this later. Now, that turns into that by doing Leslie matrix math, or just more formally known as just matrix math. So we go 0 times 290, which is 0 times 290, and then 2.1 times 340, and 0.3 times 310. And when we add all of these up, we get 807, which is our total 0 to less than 3-year-olds. And then we can work out how many of our 0 to less than 3-year-olds from the initial population make it to the next age group by our survival rate. So we go 0.6 times 290, and that gets us 174. So we now know that 174 is going to be our new population for kangaroos in the 3 to less than 6-year-old category. Now onto our last category to find out how our oldest category becomes. We go our middle age times by 340, and that pretty much just gets us 136 down here. And then that shows us how many 0 to less than 3-year-olds, 3 to less than 6-year-olds, and 6 to less than 9-year-olds we have. Now we come here, which is just shown out a bit better. Our P1 equals this. This is our new matrix that we can work with. And all we have to do now is add all of these up to get 1,117, which is our total female population, because we had to subside the male population due to birth rates or fertility rates. And now we have to times the whole number by 2, which just gets us to 2,234. And that gives us our total kangaroo population after our 3-year period. So that's that example question done. Now we need to know the main difference between how you solve for a 1-year period Leslie matrix and a multiple year Leslie matrix. And it is mainly just based on the formula. The formula for a 1-year period Leslie matrix is P to the time period, so the population after time period 1 equals a Leslie matrix times by the population 0, which is the initial population. And the formula for a multiple year period is P to the chosen time period. So it could be 3, it could be 6, it could be 20, it could be 200, but it needs to be the same here as it is here, because our time period here for our population equals our Leslie to the time period here minus 1 times the population 0, which is our initial population.